Hi, I'm Miranda Cosgrove, and this is Mission Unstoppable. Coming up, when you think of Hawaii, you might think oceans, sandy beaches, and beetles. Find out how one scientist is fighting an invasion to save a forest.
They've killed at least 1 million trees in Hawaii so far.
Wow. Then, it's not your taste buds that give you good taste. It's your brain.
What we taste is important information for our brain.
And preserving pronghorns means giving them a lift, literally.
The pronghorn is then attached to the helicopter.
Learn how dedicated scientists are saving this species. Then, this engineer gives race cars their vroom. Get ready to meet the scientists, inventors, and heroes who help make our world a better place. The future is here. The mission, unstoppable. Normally, we humans trust beetles to just do their thing, and we'll leave each other alone. But some beetles in Hawaii have broken this ancient truce, threatening the entire ecosystem. To find out how to fight them, we sent Marina to meet with forest ecologist Kylle Roy.
Some bugs are good. Bees pollinate plants, butterflies are beautiful, and ants have a couple of good ideas. But not every bug is great. In fact, some are pure trouble, like the ambrosia beetle. Here in Hilo, Hawaii, it's attacking native trees and therefore endangering the entire rainforest. I'm gonna meet up with Kylle Roy, a forest entomologist, to find out more.
I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, and I didn't always know that I was gonna study insects, and I kind of just fell into it. To be able to work and do this as a job is a dream come true.
Today, I'm on the Big Island of Hawaii at the Waiakea Forest Reserve. The heart of this forest is the ohia tree, a keystone species that not only provides habitat for endangered birds and insects, but also is often the first plant to bring life to lava flows. Kylle is going to tell me why this critical tree is endangered and how she's working to solve a big problem by studying itty-bitty beetles.
So you're a forest entomologist. What does that mean exactly?
I actually just literally study insects in the forest. We have a lot of invasive species here in Hawaii, and right now I've been working on studying these invasive ambrosia beetles. This is a tree, ohia tree, that has died from a fungal disease called rapid ohia death. They've killed at least 1 million trees in Hawaii so far.
Wow.
So there's still a lot of nice forest left, but we'd like to prevent them from turning into a graveyard like this place.
So what's happening here?
We're actually testing a beetle repellent, so it works just like a mosquito repellent, but we're trying to prevent the beetles from attacking the trees. So these are the beetles here on sticky cards. Right here you can see this is actually the beetle repellent. These are actually vials containing ethanol, which is an attractant because it simulates tree stress, and that's what brings in the beetles.
So the scent of ethanol attracts the beetles, they get stuck, and then you can track how many are coming and whether or not this is working.
Yep, exactly. We want to prevent them from creating this frass.
What is frass?
When they're creating their homes, they're chewing up wood and kicking it out into the environment. In there can be viable fungal spores, and that's how the disease spreads. So you can just see how much frass they are making.
Since stopping the frass and the fungus depends on the beetle repellent, Kylle studies its volatiles, or smells, in her lab. This lets them know how long the active ingredient lasts in Hawaii's humid environment and how often they need to reapply it. A vacuum attached to this airtight chamber pulls air through a special filter.
This is actually going to collect all of the smells onto it.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, a smell vacuum.
Yeah, it's a smell vacuum.
Kylle also captures the smells of the trees themselves, like this ohia tree that's been infected by the fungus. Capturing these volatiles lets Kylle study the chemical messages trees send out when under attack.
We're hoping that it could eventually lead to early detection before there's any symptoms.
And create an early warning system.
Yeah.
So now that you've collected all these smells, what happens?
We're gonna insert it into a machine called a GCMS. It's a gas chromatograph, which is coupled to a mass spectrometry machine.
A gas nope. No. What does that do?
So it actually just vaporizes the compound. That way we can actually identify the different compounds that are coming out.
The repellent is a relatively new approach to fighting the fungus. But by studying the beetles, perfecting her techniques, and discovering ways to detect infection early, she hopes to stop the spread of the disease and ultimately save the critically important ohia forest on the island of Hawaii and beyond.
Thank you so much for today. Forest entomology is super interesting, and I love your passion for saving native trees.
Yeah, you're welcome. I had a really great time.
Oh, good. Well, if I see any ambrosia beetles on the way out, can I just give them a really hard time?
Oh, you can save that for the scientists.
Okay, yeah, makes total sense. Thank you. I'm rooting for you.
We all love seeing and smelling things, but my favorite sense has gotta be taste. Dr. Brain is gonna tell us why it's so important.
Have you ever accidentally drunk a glass of sour milk? Blah! Your body has a powerful reaction right away. But why do we hate some tastes and love others? And why do we even taste at all? Well, no big surprise. What we taste is important information for our brain. Hi, I'm Dr. Brain. Okay, my real name is Crystal Dilworth, but I have a PhD in neuroscience, so it's just easier to call me Dr. Brain. So, I'm Dr. Brain! Knowing what's in our food has always been important for our survival. Our ancestors couldn't just read the ingredients on the side of the mammoth, so taste and smell is how we figured out if what we're eating is healthy or not. There are 5 types of taste information that your brain receives: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and a 5th taste that we call umami. A sour flavor tells us if the food is acidic. Take that expired milk. Our brain uses the unexpected sour taste in milk as a signal that something is wrong. The acid flavor is likely created by unwanted dangerous bacteria, so the brain responds to this threat by triggering disgust, telling you, "Don't eat this! It's bad and you might get sick! Spit it out!" But this information can go both ways. The sourness of lemons is totally expected, and a good sign to your brain that it contains acid associated with vitamins, like vitamin C. A salty flavor tells us if the food is, well, salty. Salt helps us regulate and retain water in our bodies and helps nerves transmit electrical impulses. A bitter flavor is extremely important because many poisonous compounds taste bitter. I don't know about you, but my brain wants to know when we're snacking on poison. The sweet flavor we get from sugar tells us food is packed with calories. In the primitive world that our brains evolved to navigate, we walked everywhere, had to search and hunt for meals, and often had to run from predators. We needed all the energy we could get, and calorie-rich fruits and vegetables were a welcome treat. The biology of our brain hasn't had enough time to catch up with modern times, so it still thinks sugar is good for our survival, and eating sugar still makes our brain feel great, which is part of why a sugary candy bar or soda may feel right, even though we know it's not healthy. Protein is important for humans too, and we have the ability to taste protein in our food through activation of the umami taste receptor. But our taste buds don't do it alone. Smell is a big part of our perception of taste as well. Try smelling garlic and eating an apple. Tastes gross, right? Without smell, our perception of taste would be limited to only sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami. Next time you're eating something delicious, remember that your senses of taste, smell, and touch are working together, trying to keep you alive. Deliciously. Bye.
Listen, we all love pronghorns. I mean, the second fastest land mammal? Who isn't gonna be a fan? But if there's one bad thing about pronghorns, it's that there aren't enough of them. Let's meet one of the scientists working to fix that. The American West has a lot of mythology behind it. Land of open skies and wide plains, where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope play. Except all those old folk singers lied to you. There are no true antelope in the United States. These magnificent animals are pronghorn. Although they may look like deer, the closest living relative of this species is actually a giraffe. Pronghorn are the fastest ungulate, or hoofed animal, in North America, easily reaching speeds of 60 miles per hour. But these beautiful animals are facing real threats in many territories around West Texas, from parasites and loss of habitat to drought, which limits their food supply. In the 1980s, the trans-Pecos population was about 17,000 strong. By 2010, there were less than 3,000 remaining. Authorities knew they needed to step in and move these pronghorn to more hospitable terrain. But how do you even catch an animal that can easily outrun a human within 2 days of being born? By helicopter, of course. But before pronghorn can get a lift, researchers have to find a location with room to roam and abundant food. That's where graduate student and researcher Leanna Morin comes in.
It took me a little while to find exactly what I wanted to do. I studied fashion for a little bit, but then realized that wasn't where my passion was.
Leanna is one of many humans who have dedicated their careers to restoring this iconic West Texas population.
My focus is their diet. I not only look at what they're eating, but that nutritional value of those plants. My research will hopefully help biologists and other wildlife officials decide if an area is safe to release pronghorn on and there's enough food for them to survive. This looks like a yellow flame flower, and this would be a nice choice for a pronghorn.
Leanna and other students with the Borderlands Research Institute have sampled across 31 million acres of land in West Texas. When they find a location that can support the pronghorn, they work with wildlife authorities, officials from Texas Parks and Wildlife, and trained private citizens to airlift the pronghorn to their new home.
A crew specializing in large mammal captures will find the pronghorn, and then the net gun will be shot over 1 or 2 pronghorn.
Once netted, experts work quickly and carefully. To keep the animal calm during transport, it's given a blindfold, and to prevent injury, its legs are gently tied together. The goal of all of this is to handle the pronghorn as safely as possible.
And then the pronghorn is then put into a sling and then attached with a rope to the helicopter. Then they're transported to a handling station.
Here, biologists do a checkup, where they attach ID tags through the pronghorn's ear cartilage, much like a human might pierce an ear, and place a breakaway GPS collar, so researchers can track these pronghorn to ensure they're healthy well after they've been relocated. Once an animal has been checked out, it's placed in a cattle trailer and driven to its new home. Over the past 11 years, this multi-organizational team has moved more than 800 pronghorn, and they're not calling it quits until this species is safe.
It means a lot to me to be a part of this team. This research will hopefully carry way beyond just the time that I'm at school, and I'm really excited to help these pronghorn be successful.
Not all of our science goes around the track at 200 miles per hour, but this next science does. Nabil can tell us more.
Hey, buddy, how's it going? You feeling okay? We all ready for the race tomorrow, or not so much? You know, you did so well last time with all the... Okay, unresponsive. If you want to know what's going on with the race car engine, you have to speak to an expert. An expert like engineer Nicole Rotondo. Nicole is one of the first women trackside engineers to power her team's car and driver all the way to the victory lane at the world-famous Indianapolis 500.
I have always loved race cars. My dad is a mechanic by trade, so I grew up working in the garage. Engines were always the things on the car that made the most sense to me. Race engines are the loudest, fastest engines out there, so it seemed like the place to be.
And the place to be today is right here at the Honda Performance Development Headquarters in Santa Clarita, California.
My job is to extract the optimum performance and power out of these engines while also being around to troubleshoot any issues that can happen while these cars are running around track.
So you're like a engine whisperer.
Yeah, something like that.
This looks like an engine.
This is a Honda Civic engine. This is more like what you're gonna see in your standard road-going car. This engine is gonna top out 110, 120 miles per hour. And then over here, I have a race engine. These cars, they can do up to 240 miles per hour.
Wow.
Yeah. All engines kind of come down to the same basic principles: how much air we get, how much fuel we get, and the timing of the spark that ignites the air and fuel mixture, and that creates combustion.
So all of that happens in what I imagine to be like a matter of seconds?
Hundredths of seconds, actually. When we talk about how fast an engine spins, we refer to it in revolutions per minute. Your standard road-going engine cruising down the highway, you're gonna see 2,000 to 3,000 revolutions per minute. These engines, top speed, wide open throttle, you're gonna get 12,000 revolutions per minute.
Speaking of racetracks, it's time to find out what secret language Nicole speaks to get the most out of an Indy car's high-performance engine and its driver when they're screaming around the track.
If you've ever been to a race, you'll see when the car comes into pit, there's the pit crew that runs out to start changing the tires. And then there's also the people with a bunch of laptops and their headsets and their radios, and they're all looking at the data coming from the car. I communicate with the engines over something called live telemetry.
So what exactly is telemetry?
Telemetry is the data. For the most part, we can do this wirelessly while the car's running on track. And all of that data will be graphed, and that's what we're able to plot into these beautiful squiggly lines here.
And you know what all these squiggly lines mean?
Yep, every single one of them. Green is good, red is bad. These are your engine RPM, your gear trace, your driver throttle, your driver pedal, his steering angle. So I can look at the data and I can talk to our driver and say, this combination of switches and buttons will get you to the fuel saving that you need to be to finish out the race.
Well, thank you so much, Nicole, for teaching me about the work you do. But now that I know everything there is to know about engines, when can I get behind the wheel of one of these babies?
Well, I'm sorry to Beal, but that's gonna be a hard no.
Seriously?
Yeah, sorry, man.
Oh, well, I got dropped off here, so that's gonna be a long walk home. The things I do in the name of science. Take care, Nicole. See you next time.
Okay, bye.
And now it's time for... Oh, wait, let me animate myself. Science Minute with Miranda Cosgrove. That's me. This is a bald eagle, and it's a bit of a fraud. No, not like that. It's totally a real bird. But when it's on TV, it lip syncs. Here's what I mean. Whenever you see one of these guys soaring majestically across the screen, it's usually accompanied by this fierce scream. But that's no eagle. That sound is actually the work of a voice actor known as the red-tailed hawk. But in reality, the eagle's call is less majestic and more, well, cackly. Here, listen for yourself. Old Hollywood movie producers realized that in order to preserve the bird's symbolic value, they needed to give its voice a makeover. Thus, welcome back. Before we go, we have one last thing.
When I first started out in the field of science, there weren't a lot of people that looked like me, being a woman and a person of color, but the field is getting a lot more diverse, and we could use more diversity because when there's more people with different ideas, we can do better science.
It doesn't matter where you come from or what you look like. You can be whatever you want to be and be successful at it, because I personally don't come from an outdoor background, and now I spend majority of my time outside and I do what I love.
You don't need to be a genius or be really naturally gifted at science or math to be involved in STEM, because if you love something and you're willing to work hard at it, the work doesn't feel that hard.
That's it for Mission Unstoppable. Maybe next week we'll do something on crabs. They aren't our first choice, but they'll do in a pinch. Bye. If you're watching this, you must have really liked the video. Make sure you follow and subscribe, and check out these other videos that are even better. No, really. I've seen this one over 100 times.